Hello, fresh scents. Okay, I think I'm in the right place. Wouldn't that be funny? I have you guys facing a different way today, so I could not sit on my floor. I'm using a stand, and I'm very fancy, so we'll see if people get on. I'm going to pull it up, because I don't know. I'm going to pull it up on my iPad, too, because my stand was not wanting to cooperate. So I have, my stand's, in the way of being able to read comments, so I didn't want to. Oh, let's turn my volume down on here. There we go. Just in case I need to read comments. Okay. I was kind of waiting. I'm doing it in the middle of the day because it's when I have time. So, probably a lot of you are going to be watching replay. That's okay. Just let me know. Just let me know you're watching. Just remember, if you're watching replay, I'm not live. I will respond if you have questions, though. So, I'm a little sinusy today, so forgive me if I sound stuffy. I can breathe. It's great, but it's all stuffy up in my sinuses, so that's really fun. It's fine. Allergies are fine. It's totally fine. It's something I miss about living in Florida, though, because that did not happen. I did not have this problem when I lived in Florida. It's all right, though. It's going to be fine. Okay, I'm going to try to... It's where'd my beverage go? Got OJ. Tangerine juice, made in Florida, ironically. Since the two people that I see popped up watching are Angela and Jose. Hi, Florida. All right. So, I'm going to move this closer so I can see it. So I can see it and grab it. So, like everyone said, this is really distracting me out of the corner of my eye. So, let's try something different. Okay. Everyone's been saying when they went live that if you haven't noticed, the directors in here are going live and telling you guys our stories, because one, it's nice to hear everyone's different journeys. I think we live in such a world of social media where social media is entirely highlights, right? It is the best part of people's worlds. People typically aren't posting all the crap and all the bad or all the negative or all the sad or whatever. We try to keep our outlook on social media pretty positive. And so, a lot of people watch a leader or watch somebody on social media and they're like, oh my God, they're doing so good and I'm not there. And we play the comparison game. And so I think it's really, really important to hear other people's stories, because it's not, you're going to find out from everyone, most people's stories are not sunshine and rainbows. Mine certainly is not. I cry, almost every time I tell my story. And even, it's funny because I was laughing. Mal did hers yesterday, and she said, I went and watched the story I had posted last year, and I did one and posted it a couple years ago on my YouTube, and I was watching it the other day too, and I was like, wow, a lot has changed. A lot has changed in that little bit of time. So, it's weird for me to talk about me. So let me... Squirrel. So I just celebrated 7 years with Scentsy, just over a week and a half ago. March 27th was my 7-year anniversary. So I've been in the game a long time, it seems. Obviously there's people who've been in the game longer than me, but 7 years is a long time for a Dawn to do anything. I don't commit to things very, very well. This is, aside from, I tell people, this is the longest I've ever committed to anything. aside from when I worked for Panera for 10 years. But then I was like, but when I worked for Panera for 10 years, I held 5 different positions in that 10-year period. So I was even changing a lot within that. So this is like literally the longest I've ever done one thing, which is kind of crazy. What are nuts to think about? And so it's really funny to like look back on everything that's happened in that 7 years. My eye has been twitching. So if you see my eye twitch, I'm sorry. It's part of my allergy issue. So this eye, like, I'm like, okay. Anyways, squirrel moment. But so 7 years is a long time to do anything. And Scentsy, I've known Scentsy. I've used the product since 2009 and I joined in 2012. So like, and Scentsy's only been around since 2004. So like, there's a lot of Scentsy growth that has happened in the time since I started using Scentsy to now. It's really crazy to think about. And that growth extends entirely, I feel, to consultants. And I think if you hear anybody's story, you're going to hear lots of growth and lots of things that have changed. And oh God, Mal, what did you say the other day? She saw someone else post it and then she posted it and I was like, oh my God, it's so true. Excuse me, that Scentsy is a like personal development plan with a paycheck or something like that. And I was like, ain't that the damn truth? The girl that I was, even a year or 2 years ago, definitely 7 years ago, is just a completely different person. And, it always sounds really like cliche to be like, oh, this is such a life-changing thing. But I think anybody who's really in Scentsy, would never deny that this is a life-changing experience. And so I'll kind of tell you. So I started in March 2012. I was Christina's, I think, 4th or 5th person to sign up under her. So way back, and she had been a consultant for about 4 months when I signed up. So, and she was like just starting to launch. She had, a little open house. Me and another one of our mutual friends showed up. No one else did, but it's okay. I booked a party that became my launch party. And so really she got all 3 things out of that party, right? She got sales, she got a party, and she had somebody join. So, your party doesn't have to be huge. It's totally fine. So we did that. So I did that, and I was just, well, I needed a dealer, and she was nearby, and we had just met at a Hanson concert like 3 months before. And, it just turned out we lived really close to each other and we're basically the same human. And I was like, well, like I went very quickly from like replenishing my stock to having what I felt at the time was a lot of stuff, right? We get that like pile of like 30 bars and we're like, whoa, I've got so much Scentsy. And then I look around my office right now and I'm like, I have like a pile of 200 bars. I have so much Scentsy. So I was like, well, if I'm going to be continually spending money on this, like I might as well make some money back on it. Like that doesn't hurt. Like I'm spending enough money to sustain myself, and like I have some friends and family that I know are gonna buy because they bought from my party, so like I might as well like make just like even $50 here and there is awesome, right? Like sweet, can't argue with that. So that was my goal, make a few bucks here and there. And I think that's what most people start Scentsy for. Like we can all like say that it's for this or that or the other thing. And like ultimately, like 99% of us, the goal is financial, and that's okay. Like it is okay to be motivated by money. FYI, I'm sure as hell motivated by money. I'm sure as hell motivated by the trips we earn. Like it is okay to be motivated by that. Like that's good. Let that drive you. Like that's a huge motivator. So, I think people are scared to say that that's what they're motivated by. Don't be scared of that. Like, it's good to be motivated by money because there is a lot of money to be had in Scentsy, okay? So we didn't know what we were doing. So when you hear us like say that your upline doesn't matter, your sponsor doesn't matter, not knowing where things are, you can find it, it's because that was our experience. Okay. So since we were brand new at the same time, like her sponsor quit right after she joined. Who she got rolled up to never reached out. We tried to contact, they never responded back. We tried to hire, like you can see who your superstar director is. We never got a response. So like we did not have upline, and my sponsor was Christina, who was brand new. So she didn't know, like we were just doing it together. Right. So like when we tell you that your sponsor doesn't matter and your upline doesn't matter, like if you want this, you'll make it work. Like that comes from a place of experience. And what we did was we figured out how to find things on the workstation, and we went hunting on YouTube for people who talked about Scentsy, and we found, typed Scentsy into Facebook and found some Scentsy people. And we reached out to people. So like, don't be afraid to find your tribe outside of what would be your typical tribe. Like your sponsor and upline, you owe nothing to them. And they are not the masters of your success. You determine your success. You determine your success. No one else matters. The only reason you will ever be successful is if you go out and tackle it yourself. No one's going to work your business for you. No one's going to make you successful. No one's going to get that promotion for you. No one's going to find teammates for you. No one's going to find customers for you. No one's going to book parties for you. You are the person who determines your success. And I say that very strongly because I was the person who got in the way of my success. So we did that. We went and figured it out. We went to SFR that year, which was not even called Reunion at the time. 6 months in, we had no idea what we were getting into. It was craziness. And we didn't know anybody, and we were blown away. It was a very amazing experience. If you, like when people tell you to go to SFR and it'll change your life, like I would not miss SFR for anything. I would sell my left kidney to get to SFR. It is that important. It'll completely change your perspective on yourself, on your business, on your outlook, on everything. And it is that vital. And I truly, honestly believe that. So go sign up for SFR after I'm done talking. Just make it happen. Figure out, you own a business with infinite income potential. Figure out how to make some extra cash. Okay. Just get there. And so, we went to SFR, and we came out like swinging. By August of that year, so like 5 months in, I hit star consultant. I had like 5 or 6 people on my team. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just really excited about Scentsy. And like I said, I joined for extra cash. I had zero intention of it going anywhere. It was just happening in a sense. Obviously I was working, otherwise it wouldn't have happened. I just was making it up. Like I was just being excited about it and sharing it. That's all it takes. Be excited about it and share it. And so we went into fall season, and things were fine and things were going great. We didn't know incentive was a thing. We didn't understand what that meant. Incentive trips, we didn't know what that meant. Like I said, we learned a lot as we went. We didn't know what incentive trips meant. We didn't know what the window was. And I missed the incentive trip. The fall incentive trip that year was Pick, Pack, Play. It had like 5 different options trips you could choose from if you earned it. It was really cool. Anyways, I was like, I'm totally gonna earn that. Like, sure. I didn't know. In my brain, it went the length of the catalog season. I had no other like concept. There was no tracker on the workstation at the time. I literally did not know what the actual parameters were. And I ended up, and obviously it did not go to the end of the catalog season. It goes to the end of January. And I ended up missing it by 500 points. And so when I say, that you are the master of your success, and the master of your outlook and the way you handle things, I kid you not, you are. Because what I let it do to me was completely defeat me. Instead of being like, sweet, I got 500 points away when I didn't even know what I was really doing. I was just trying to figure this out one day at a time, one Google search at a time. Like, that's amazing, right? That should have been my outlook. Like, that's amazing. Instead, I let it completely derail me. And so I went from that point forward, and I tanked really, really hard. Wasn't hitting even, certainly wasn't hitting star numbers, wasn't hitting lead numbers most months, mostly because I wasn't doing my own sales. You have to do 500 to be a leader, at least. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a leader and you're doing only 500, you're doing it wrong. If you're doing the minimum requirements for your title, you're doing it wrong. Nothing will come from a minimum. You must go above and beyond. So I wasn't even doing minimums. So of course, like, my team's not going to do anything either. That's what happens. If you do minimums, your team does minimums. If you don't do even that, your team doesn't even do that. They are watching you like a fly on your wall. So what you are doing, they are replicating. And I don't mean like word for word replicating, but if they don't see you working, they're not working either. Okay? Straight up. Why is my team not growing? Are you recruiting? Why is my PRV not growing? Are you going and talking to people? Like, it's all you. It is all you, and it was all me. And I was really, really struggle bussing. And I struggle bussed for years. I rode the will cancel list off and on forever. I made a lot of promises out loud of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to become. I want to be a director. I want to earn this trip. I want to do that. And I put in 0 of the work. So what happened? I earned none of those things. And I wasn't even maintaining what I had earned in those first 5 months. So you are the person who's going to make that happen. It's you. And it was me. It was me making it fail. And I was in and I will cancel. I was unsure whether Scentsy was for me. I questioned every single thing I did, every single move I had made, every penny of the $99 I had spent to join. I loved the product still, but I was like, maybe I'm just meant to be a really good customer, right? And it's so easy. It's so easy to get into that headspace and stay there. It is far easier to get into that headspace and stay there than it is to keep yourself out of it. It just is. It's easier to frown than it is to smile. It takes less muscles. Like, it's the same way mentally. And I was deep, and I struggle with depression issues anyways. And so it certainly wasn't helping. During all of that, I had moved to Chicago. And while I was in Chicago, I spent like my first month living at a family friend's house. They had like a condo that they were in the process of getting ready to sell. And so while I was apartment hunting, they let me stay there. And then when I finally moved into my apartment got broken into in the first weekend that I was in the apartment. And it was that year in Chicago was the hardest thing I've probably ever been through. That break-in happened. They took like my MacBook Pro, my iPad. They took a bunch of I had a ton, like thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in camera gear because I was doing photography at the time. And they took all of it. They came back after I got home from work to a ransacked house. Detectives came, did fingerprints, did all of the things. And they left, and I slept with the lights on. I slept with the lights on for months. My cat's hitting my stand. I slept with the lights on for months. It really unnerved me. But they came back while I was sleeping and took my car. And it was just a really, really crazy time in my life. And in between, like, not knowing where I laid with Scentsy, and then that happening, and I was struggling with my job at the time. It was the last, 6 months of my career with Panera, which I obviously didn't know at that moment, but I was just really struggling with what was going on with my job and the changes that were happening, and it was a really bad time. And in all of that, the people who came to bat for me were not necessarily like my best friends of millions of years or family or whatever. It was my Scentsy family. And sometimes, Kitty, you're hitting. My cat really wants attention. Sometimes you don't realize who your family is and who the people are who are going to be there for you through thick and thin and the worst of the worst, and where your place is until like you hit the lowest of lows. And it was a supremely humbling moment in my life to have it go down the way it did. Without me knowing, a GoFundMe was set up by Scentsy people, and to this day I don't know, like a lot of people donated anonymously, and I still don't know to this day who a lot of those people were. The Scentsy community put out like the announcement into the universe, like, if you're in the Chicago area, look for this car. It even had my Scentsy logo on the back of it, so like my car would have been easy to spot in that regards. So but it was Scentsy people who went to bat for me, and I think I know looking back on it that moment in time was why I stayed with Scentsy, because I knew that people who didn't even really know me, if they were willing to help someone out, who they didn't even really know, and they didn't know my struggles or what was going on in my life or where I was mentally with Scentsy. But if that's the reaction that a company and a group of people could have to someone, just because they had one connection to them, and that was this company, that is like supremely impactful. And I hope you guys have felt even a little bit of that connection and love when it comes to Scentsy, because it's like, it's so cheesy. I know what it sounds like. I know how cheesy it sounds. But like, it is so much more than wax and warmers. It is so much more than selling some products. And this company is just remarkable from every level of consultant all the way up. And if you have been following along with like Superstar Director Summit and the way some of the things they've done there, recognizing and they have like a memorial garden, and we had a Superstar Director pass away this year who was amazing, and they did a big recognition memorial service for her during Superstar Director Summit. Like, it is just so much deeper than selling some products. And it was in that moment that I knew that I at least needed to stay with Scentsy, that this was a place that little old Dawn, who never ever felt like she belonged anywhere, that anybody truly understood who she was as a person, who never felt like she knew what her path was in life, and I was clearly struggling with it at that time, that at least this was a place where, whether it was a hobby or, oh, hi Christina, see, that's gonna make me cry. Whether this was a hobby or a career, that this was a place that you belonged. And my goal is always to hopefully make people feel just a little bit of that. Because even if this is just a hobby for you, you still should really feel cared about and appreciated. We don't have enough of that in this world. And so that was a huge light bulb for me because I never had felt that before. Ooh, excuse me. So, I'm gonna try to talk. So like that was just a light bulb for me. It was huge. And so I knew then that at least, if nothing else, I was staying here. I was staying with Scentsy. Whatever that looked like, I did not know, but I knew that there was no way I could leave people who cared, who were that deeply invested in the people around them, whether they knew them or not. And so, I just had never experienced that. And I hope that you guys being in Scentsy feel that. Okay. So then, 2014, I was like, okay, I've got to stick around somehow. And I was really good at pumping other people up and telling them that they were worth it and telling them that they could achieve it. And I literally like watched all my friends like promote and achieve things, and it was awesome. And I was like, yeah, go you. I'm sitting over here hobby level. And so, again, was still like a lot of, talking about the things I wanted to achieve and accomplish and not really putting in the effort to get there. I know I was still looking back. I was still really trying to figure out where I lied in the Scentsy universe. And then I moved to Florida, had left Panera after 10 years, moved to Florida, worked at Disney for a couple of years. And I think living in Orlando, working for Disney, those couple of years, I really found myself as a person. It was like I had to hit the restart button on life. And it was a time I needed, and it was a very weird time at the same time. Like, it was just it's strange to look back on it. Those couple of years kind of feel like dream mode. Living at Disney is a weird experience in and of itself. And I'm a Disney freak, but it is such a different universe. And then, in what year was Nashville? 2016, Nashville reunion. Kind of was the start of me realizing what I had in front of me. And Nashville was really fun. It was really amazing. It was something started to click there, and Mel Robbins talked there. And if you pay attention to me, you know that I love Mel Robbins so freaking much. She is like my spirit animal of a human, and she speaks no BS. She is straight up. She is blunt. She is in your face, but she speaks fucking truth, man. She just does. And she just like, I just sat there and I was like, wow, this lady like gets it. And I kid you not, I don't even joke when I say that I read or listen to 5 Second Rule like every month or two, which is Mel Robbins' like main book, because it is that book for me that like literally like kicks me in the butt, and it made me realize that my depression was okay. My anxieties were okay. There were ways to handle it. And so if you have troubles with feeling motivated, with feeling really anxious about everything in the whole wide world, with depression, with not knowing how to handle things, read 5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins. You're welcome. It'll give you tools to completely change your life. And I came home and I started rebuilding. I had to. I did not have a basis for a successful business. I had not entered customers correctly. I had not done follow-ups. I had not, like, it was a hobby for me. And so I had done nothing really correctly to that point. And so I really started fixing things. And then went to Kansas City, SFR, in 2017. and like you thought this crying was a mess for the like 30 seconds it happened. Yeah, I did that like the whole entire Kansas City family reunion. Like the people who were with me thought something was sincerely wrong, and nothing was really wrong. Like it was literally that every single room I walked into, every general session speaker, every single breakout, every moment of that reunion was literally as if I was in a room by myself, having that person talk to only me. And it was like, people talk about a light bulb moment, and it was sure as hell my light bulb moment. It was, I can't even explain what that moment was. It was insane. And I was like, I walked into that reunion feeling really disheartened. I had spent a year trying to really rebuild things. We had actually finally hit star numbers after a reunion in Nashville, and actually promoted to superstar consultant in November of 2017, but then didn't hit it again. And the people that I had worked with to get to that level decided that they were putting Scentsy on the back burner, which happens and it's fine. But again, I let it deflate me. Again, you are the person responsible for how you react to the outcome. And I was not good at picking how I reacted to the outcomes. And by the time reunion, Kansas City, summer of 2017 pulled around, I promoted to superstar consultant in fall of 2016. Anyways, summer 2017 in Kansas City, by the time that came around, we were struggling hitting star numbers. We had a team of 18, so we should have easily been able to achieve that in my head. And I did not know what to do, and I was down, and I was just like, maybe I just need to not make it. Maybe it's not my career thing. And it was just everything in that reunion. I tell you not to miss reunion. I kid you not. Everything in that reunion was like, Dawn, you are supposed to be here. Dawn, this is your career. Dawn, this is your purpose. This is your calling. This is for you. And no matter what room I walked into, that was the message I got all reunion long. And I cried the whole freaking time like a baby. And that month was hard. Like, I was struggling so much. I hit like 230 PRV or something. Certainly not even later numbers. Not even the minimums I needed. My team didn't hit star numbers. And I came back and I said to my team, and I was really blunt. And I'm blunt all the time, but I was like, guys, I don't know what happened this reunion, but this is my jam, okay? This is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my career, my purpose, my passion. It is mine, and I'm claiming it for myself. And I love you guys, and I want you with me, but I only want you with me if you want to be here. If you don't want to be here, that is okay. This does not have to be your purpose, your passion, your thing. It does not. This is not for everybody, and I get that. But it is mine. And so if you don't want to be here, that's okay. I'm going to keep building the team. I'm going to keep building my business. I'm going to keep building my PRV, and I'm going to get to where I want to be. And we went, luckily my team was really cool about it, and most of them were like, let's do it, girl, let's do it. And we like added 8 people that August of 2017. We did like 8,000 group wholesale volume. We hit superstar consultant numbers for the next 14 months, including almost hitting director number most of those months. I went 14 months going, oh my God, we're gonna hit director. Oh my God, we're gonna hit director. Oh, we didn't hit director. It happened for 14 months, and I missed the Mediterranean cruise by 500 points. Who cares? I freaking earned and instead of being upset about that, I went, you know what though? I earned my first incentive ever. I'm going to SFR for free. Boom. I had a completely different perspective about the way I viewed things. I started finding the positive in the negative. I started figuring out how to make that work for me. And so when I'm like annoyingly positive to you, it's because I have to find the positive in the negative. I have to find the good in the bad, because if I don't, I know what that does to me because of my depression. I know how far that can cause me to sink. And so you have to find the good in the bad. This business comes with both. And if you let the bad drag you down, you're never going to succeed. You just won't. You'll sit. I tell my team, you have the choice. You can sit in the shit. You can sit in it and you can stink to high heaven and no one's going to want to be around you. Or you can get up, shower it off, find the good in it, and keep moving. Those are your only options. So sit in the shit and stink, or shower it off and keep moving. And so, yeah, I'm annoyingly positive sometimes. I know it. I know I'm over the top because that's how I have to be. Because if I don't, I sit in the shit and stink, and I refuse to do that. I want y'all to understand the positive of it. And so we like kicked ass for 14 months, and every month I was like, we're going to do it. And Christina was like, I think we're going to do it. And then it didn't happen. And I was like, it's okay, because look at how much further we got. Look at the people we added. Look at how much better my PRV is. I got to 2,000 PRV months in those 14 months. I used to do 500 to 750 PRV and think that was awesome. And it is. That's great. It's a mental hurdle to get to that point. But I always told myself I was never going to be a big PRV person. Well, when I started telling myself that I could do it and working towards it, look what happened. And I'm doing the same thing with team building. Last year was my PRV learning year. This is my team building learning year. I've added more people to my team this year than I did all of last year. You can do the same thing. All I do is wake up and tell myself every day, I'm a badass recruiter. I'm going to find somebody to join my team, damn it. Like, it is all in your mindset and all in the work you put in. You are the master of every decision in your business. You owe nothing to no one. No one is going to do it for you. You have to do it. And it took me freaking 5.5 years to figure that out. So dear God, learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. And my team hit director in October this past year. We got to officially claim team name of How I Met Your Warmer. I've been hiding that one under my sleeve for several years now. And so I am so proud of them. We're a team of 40. And it has not been an easy road, and it's not going to be an easy road. I know it's not going to be. It's not meant to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it, and then we wouldn't have customers or team members because everybody would be doing the same damn thing. Know what I'm saying? So no, it's not easy. If you want to do this as a career, it is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's work. But God damn it, if it isn't the funnest, most rewarding work you will ever do in your life. Ever in your life, right? So, the whole moral of my story, I'll wrap up here because I've probably been talking for way too long. That's what I do. I can't even look and see how long I've been talking. So, the moral of my story is that your journey is going to have roller coasters. It's going to have ups. It's going to have downs. That's just life, right? Life throws us curveballs. It throws us shit. It just does. But you have every power over how you react to those curveballs and those curves and those hills. That is you. And so, if you want this, go get it. Not a single damn thing is stopping you. Nothing is in your way but your own freaking brain. You have every power to do anything you see anyone else doing in this business. You have every power to be better than the things you see happening in this business. You can do whatever you want. It's totally up to you. But no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to do the work. No one's going to sit and cheerlead you. I mean, we will a little bit, but like, you have to do it. And you have to mentally put yourself in a place where you're telling yourself you can do it every freaking day. The power of positive affirmations and telling you can do it is real. It is real. But while you're telling yourself you can do it, you've got to actually be putting in the work. Just telling yourself you can do it isn't going to make it happen. You've got to tell yourself you can, as well as do the work. So, hopefully all of the different stories you hear over the rest of this week, the past week from the directors, helps you realize how many different paths there are to get to career level Scentsy. There's so many ways, and we've all encountered so many different ups and downs. And there's some of us who got to director quickly, some of us who got there in 5.5 years. 6.5 years. 6.5 years. How long have I been Scentsy? 6.5 years. Because of those ups and downs. And every story is different. And Facebook and Instagram and social media is everybody's highlight reel. So don't compare yourself. You're comparing your whole story to someone else's highlight reel, and you've got to stop. The highlight reel, take those things and run with them because they're maybe great ideas, but don't compare your whole story to someone else's highlight reel. But yeah, hopefully this week is encouraging for you guys, hearing all the different stories. I'm sorry I cried and was hard to talk for a little bit there. That's another thing. I never cried before Scentsy. So now I'm a Heidi level crier, and it's just what it is. So, I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me babble. If you made it this far, you're a rock star. And we'll see you next time. Bye.